Yo, 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 and welcome to another episode of Roy's Podcast. I'm Roy Spencer.
And I'm Johnny Rodriguez, and this is Roy's podcast. So, Roy, what do we got? What are we looking at today?
Well, Johnny, we've got a lot of crazy stuff going on in the market. Haven't really caught up with these people in a while, and there's a lot of new factors out there that are driving what's moving the prices around. So, looks like at the top of it, we've got an ongoing war. It's not exactly anybody's favorite, but there's a lot of implications of what that means going on in the future. And some of them are obvious and some of them are a little less obvious, but everything has its subtleties in the way that, supply and demand are affecting what's going on right now. And I think we started seeing that mainly back during COVID with supply chain problems coming up because of people not wanting or not going to work. There's a lot of cash in the market so people could afford to not go to work, and then that caused backups. And there's also COVID itself, which caused people to not want to go to work. So that pushed back the supply chains. And at that point, everybody in America, demand went all the way to the bottom. And then what we had to do is suppliers had to really cut back in terms of especially gas and oil.
Mm-hmm.
So that at one point, gas and oil were in the negative, meaning they would pay you to go get the gas. If you had a tractor or a trailer, you could have gone and picked it up and they would have paid you to take it because they had so much supply being brought in and so little demand out. And gas prices were really cheap. But now we have the opposite going on. And it's overcorrected. When that happens, people stop making the gas and the oil. They leave it in the ground because they're doing themselves. They're driving the price down, pumping more and more with less coming in. Now we're on the opposite end where we're kind of rebounding from that. Not a lot of them have come back on to produce gas. We're losing a gas trading partner around the world, which was Russia, and that's a lot of what was going on. Everybody was kind of in a similar situation. A lot of demand was cut, so a lot of people stopped making the gas and stuff, and became more reliant on people that just made it mainly, which was
and that
Russia.
was due to COVID originally.
Yeah, and so now that put them at such a powerful position, and they're what's going on in Europe right now, because it's they were relying on straight up they almost completed the Nord Stream pipeline or something too to flow.
Is that to Germany?
Yeah, straight to Germany, and they're straight up just trusting Russia for their oil. Things were way too cozy at that point.
Yeah, getting a little too cozy there.
Yeah, and so this is a good wake-up reminder. Now, not getting that from them, have people not making as much gas as they were. People still demand at all-time highs. It's not going well. And, that's all fine and dandy, but until you realize that, okay, well, when the gas prices are higher, so is the goods getting to the store because supply costs are higher. So now you gotta pay more for that, and for those you gotta pay more. And then it itself, if that all wasn't horrible, the prices of that stuff are more expensive as well because you can't get the input put into those. Your favorite cereal. Oh, well, if you liked wheat, you were losing a lot of that to Ukraine and Russia. So get ready for those to go up around the world. And if you're a nation that relies on stuff like that, like Egypt, then you are about to see some political unrest. It's just kind of crazy that, maybe a lot of y'all saw most of that coming, but, all these small things, and just in terms of, trade and, supply around the world can cause these, small shifts to, really trickle down.
Right.
And really disturb the market. And so what I'm talking about here at this point is, the market might have some opportunities coming around, but there's a lot of reasons to be pretty negative right now.
Right.
And I think, I'm I'm gonna be rocking with it pretty safe for most of the time going forward in the future, other than some good long-term pickups for investments and like some very, very short-term like options. But
Right.
medium term is kind of hard to decide.
So when you say like, when do you think people will be able to have a idea of where the market's headed? I mean, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that because we kind of have an idea. But like, I guess when they, like what you were originally saying, like for the long-term investments, how long are we looking at, do you think?
I'm thinking just in terms of like what we have that we can depend on, or at least push for going on in the future. So I'm glad we're getting around to this because we've actually discovered some amazing new ETFs coming about this week. We have VERS and KGHG, and I'll pull those up for you guys just to show you what I'm talking about. So to start off here, we've got VERS. Now VERS is, I think, the first metaverse ETF.
Let's go.
It's a good.
It's so sick.
Yeah.
Does it say what metaverse?
So what it means with an ETF is that they collect actual stocks that they have within it. So they have Apple being the first thing that they own. They own a basket of stuff. They own Nvidia second, Google third, Facebook, Microsoft, and then I haven't really heard of these guys. But as we go down, we see that they own like a good amount, and these are all people that are kind of getting into that. Roblox, we've talked about them before.
Yeah.
And these are all people that in some way or another are developing into the metaverse. And so if you believe in the metaverse as, you know, its concepts in a company-driven fashion, then this would be a good ETF for you. And I think that that's going to drive a bunch of money, especially for, like, I see companies like Nvidia, especially after this week and talking about their new chips and stuff for the metaverse. They said something around $10 billion are in by 2030. And so, like, if you believe in that growing sector and believe that that could drive some of these names, then this could be a good basket of names for you guys to invest in. And it's
Look
all
at that
in
one
one
company.
place.
Hologram Cloud.
Which
underneath Snap Inc. Underneath Amazon.
These guys?
It's I wonder what that is.
I'm sure there's all these like crazy companies within this that have something like I've heard of Unity, I think.
Yeah.
And Activision Blizzard, which is also kind of funny because they're about to be a part of Microsoft, so you can just add that 2.7% here to the Microsoft group and just put them a little further at the top there. But it's just kind of nuts. And so
it'd be cool for us to look into these companies like some episode in the future.
Yeah, I think that they did a really good job of kind of gathering them because they put this ETF together, and this has to be approved by many people. They put in a ton of money managing this also. There's a plan behind that. So it's just weird because, you know, you see different weights, and so they think Apple has like better chance of doing better in the future than Nvidia, you know, in the way that they're kind of positioning it. And so you really get like in my mind, you get a really good belief system of how do these people with like a good amount of money, how would they do it if they were making something out to try to be successful? Because they want their ETF to grow and expand in the future.
This seems like a really good long-term investment for as a stock, but like if you believe in crypto, like you were saying, definitely.
Okay, and so just going off that one, I think that's pretty exciting, but I'm also a big fan of what we have going on with our next one as well, which is KGHG.
Sounds pretty close to KGB.
KGB. So it's an ETF that aims to capture low carbon leaders of the future. They focus on companies in traditionally high emission industries that are on the cusp of the transition away from fossil fuels to renewable energy.
Wow.
So they're basically kind of betting on these companies to be doing better in the future with their ESG scores, and therefore increasing off of that. And then they put those all together, and so now they have a basket of some of these stocks. So Contact Energy, whatever that is, something metals, yeah, and just kind of a combination of all of this. One of the things that I was looking at is that they still have around 66 to 67% of their money in cash. They haven't even really spent it all the way through to invest it in all this. So this is literally like a week old, and this is a Crane Shares ETF, which also I've been, all the stuff that we talked about with any of the ETFs in commodities, I think those have all been Crane Shares. KRBN, Crane Shares is like the group of the people that put it all together. And, because an ETF is just a basket of stuff created by a group of people, they can create that basket, and because they have trade run-throughs, they can also make those leveraged. So that's why, something like the TQQQ exists. That's just a basket, but it's weighted as well. So that's a 3 times weighted basket of different stocks. So that kind of gives them like some power to play around, and they get some money. And this is kind of what they're thinking looks good for. I like where their head's at, and especially like the way, just through some of this and like some of the other stuff that I've seen, that like they're positioned going forward in the future. And we're talking about this in terms of a long-term trade. I'd probably make it like a semi-annual or something like that, like DCA investment, where you just put like a planned amount in the future, like 5-10 years down the line. That's when like this is like gonna be going hard.
So this is money that people should be able to not,
because like it's our only it's our only chance in the future. So if,
right,
as
a human civilization.
Yeah, because like, I mean, like this is all like so much of like a problem with like our climate change and all that if like we don't push towards like a more like renewable future and aim to like have these kind of take on the world, then we're not going to be ending up in the right spot. We're gonna be ending. See a lot of like it's hard to imagine, but I don't know if without like some action that we're too far away from like some real crisis.
What does a great job? It's weird that we're talking about, or I guess it's not weird because it's so prevalent in everyone's life. But on Netflix, there's a show it came out a little bit ago, or a movie. It's called Black Crab. Have you seen that?
No, man. What's it about?
Bro, it's crazy. So it's about it's Sweden, right? And basically the world it's like a post-apocalyptic thing, not like zombies or anything, but dude, it basically kind of is like what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, but like on a larger scale, where it's like 2030, and climate change, like the nuclear fallout or whatever, like it's ramped up climate change, and it froze over, like everything in Sweden is like froze over, but at the same time it's not. So there's still like people, but it's like poverty. And anyways, at the end of it, like I'm not gonna give away what happens at the end, but there's there's like they choose 5 random people from Sweden that are like soldiers, kind of a ragtag group, and they're tasked with basically like saving the world by transporting this big capsule thing to the other side of this big thing of frozen water. And the entire time, like the only way they can get there is by ice skating, because otherwise the enemy would detect them. And dude, it's crazy. I highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out actually, you know what? I can't say it. I want to say it so bad, but
Oh
I'm not gonna
man,
say it.
did
But
it
they're
make?
transporting something that actually could make it worse.
Sheesh,
They don't
dude.
know that though until halfway through. Let's just leave it there. But yeah,
Dang, dude. And
apocalyptic shit.
you said that was on Netflix.
Dude, it's so good. Yeah, it is
Oh,
so
heck yeah.
good.
I've been looking for a new thing to watch out of there,
It's the
but
best movie I've seen in a while.
heck yeah.
It could
And
be because the world's
you
ending
know,
now.
you know what else has got some really good things that it seems like we're in a movie with them, but kind of
What?
not.
Huh?
Is our old-fashioned boys, Elon Musk. What
Oh
doesn't that
yeah.
guy do? If you ever just want some humor in your life, you should hit up Twitter and just go roll through Elon Musk's page and be like, dude, I don't know how old this guy is. Maybe a little bit past like
Wha-
35 or 40. I don't
That's
really know.
nuts. That's
But
nuts.
like he still tweets like just stuff that like I want to see. Like legit, you go out there and like just an Elon tweet, especially when he's bored. You can see when this guy is bored out here, and
Oh yeah.
sometimes he's tweeting real stuff. Oh, and like the most real stuff that he has going on comes with the new Gigafactory being built in Germany.
What is that?
So they're putting a new they're like one of their massive factories that like churns out like tons of cars right over in Germany, which
Oh
is
wow.
crazy because they're in so much demand right now, especially with the energy crisis. That like
Yeah.
this is just like they all relying on Russia for all their stuff, and like now did, honestly, when I saw this, I was just like, man, what a business guy. You know,
Yeah.
he's just
For real.
like, I see a need. Like, let me go over there and solve some problems right now. So he's got that up and running, and Tesla has been flying. And
Dang.
yesterday they were up over 8%, and they were still cruising today. So it's
Wow.
just kind of nuts. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on. We even have AMC. We have
Let's
AMC popping
go.
off. They were up 16% the day before, another like 10% in after hours. Came into the day, then came off today up around 8 or 9%.
Wow, that's
So
nuts.
some of those meme days, are we back in the thick of it? Like I don't know. Those were the fun times, and it kind of makes you wonder, like, just like why, like
Why is that up? Was
yeah.
there anything
Other
with Wall
than
Street bets or anything?
yeah, there was like a bunch of Wall Street bets. People were really in on it, and I guess I think it was Ryan Cohen, which is I think now like heading GME. He put out that he bought like millions of shares or something, and
Jeez.
I don't know, and they got people going crazy. But it's
That's
still
pretty
funny
cool.
how like the moves aren't what they used to be, but because of people just shorting it, because everybody's bet would have been like, yeah, by the end of the year, like GameStop's got to go down, so let's just put like a long term like short on it, and everybody just
Right.
kind of stacks up onto that pile, especially in times where you have companies like Microsoft falling down. Like, well, GME would make just as much sense, but when everybody kind of piles to a position, and then somebody does something like that, get that reverse change in the action, you
Yeah.
short squeeze, and then people. That's like we've seen like GameStop up over like 70% in just a week, just because of that, and
Crazy.
you know,
And I
I,
guarantee GameStop is doing something right now. They're probably, because they know that they're a stock or a company that's like, you know, they're just there, but people
yeah,
make money off them. So I feel like if I was the CEO, I would take advantage of that, and I would be working on, maybe implementing myself, uh, just more digital. You know what I mean? So it's not
hmm
as like you have to walk in. Even though I love the GameStop experience, but like I
me
think
too.
that with all like, dude, they're lucky. They're very lucky if you think about it. Like because they just wouldn't be in the headlines if it wasn't for Wall Street bets way back when.
I know, right? And I was just thinking about that. in that like them along with AMC aren't companies that kind of belong to be around and be worth this much, but
Yeah.
because like they came out of like somehow they were just in memes and this all played out for them very well, that they still stick around and now have GameStop's even working towards like a metaverse themselves with like NFTs and stuff like that for some of like their old fashioned like games and stuff. It's just kind of nuts.
And so what was Ryan Cohen? What was his like? Did he give a reason why he's buying it?
Said, oh yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. GameStop surges as Ryan Cohen buys more of the meme stock. He said that he revealed that he had bought another 100,000 shares of the meme stock, bringing him up to 11.9%.
Wow, it's crazy how one man can change things like that.
Dude, I could honestly, I see it going forward so well. Ryan Cohen, he pushed all this money into it, and just like going forward, he really thinks that they have a shot to really move on. I don't really know what he's seeing there, but it's crazy like that could continue going on, especially with these people continuing to just go back to their original plan and be like, okay, that short squeeze will never happen again, like we saw last year. And then they pile back onto their positions and like, as long as you get enough people to just be like, screw you, and trigger that short squeeze, then like you'll get that like triggering reaction. So I think from like time to time, even though there's like no massive stimulus checks being pumped in, commodities and things going higher, this kind of shows that like there's still fire under these kind of names. So when you see stuff popping off, especially the first day, check it out on the second day. What we talked about in our Discord today, especially when these were popping, I've been running through it. Like in the morning, they're popping off. So the day before that, they were popping off hard, and they trailed, and they were really going hard into after hours. So getting in on some options and some calls just seemed like, just in case that there was a chance that like that would continue on throughout the day, because people got fired up just on the first day, and like why not if it like continued on, because they have these powers. Like I remember when they started popping off that like they went on for like 3 days in a row just absolutely going bonkers. And so as long as I was seeing those like good increases and watching the volume, it was just like a really cool experience. And sometimes you don't really need to know what it's gonna do. If you buy an option, if you buy both sides, buy calls and buy puts in a high volatility situation, if it sells off, you win. If it sells off hard, like if you sells off hard, you win. If it goes up hard, you win. Well, we're talking about GameStop and AMC here, so why not play that? Even if you lose a little bit on the other one, you make way more on like the other one going up to counteract that. So I was playing both sides, and it turned out to go pretty well. And I guess that was just an explanation for you guys.
And so join our Discord, so you can.
Just catch us in real time. Shoot me over a question. Just be like, "Yo, what are we trading today?" And if I see moves like that, I love working with y'all.
And it's a very active Discord too.
Especially if you guys are looking to check out like some of like the new NFT projects. We have an automated bot that will tell us about stuff like that. We have bots that are telling us all about cryptocurrencies, all about their new updates, and we've selected it down to a good few that are very promising for the future. So there's all that, and there's constant news and people just talking about stuff in there. So it's always active, and it seems like it's good too, because like if you're not a part of Discord or anything and you're listening to this, I think Discord is one of the most beneficial things you can be on, when it comes to this stuff, so you can interact with other people, see their perspective, see how they're thinking about it. It's definitely important to get other people's perspective on things. Right on. So with that being said, Johnny, what is going on in the crypto side of things right now? What are you seeing? What are you liking?
Well, I'll tell you this, Roy. I'm seeing a lot of things that I am liking. And starting with Solana. Now Solana has been doing very well, and basically they're ready for a breakout, which it seems like they've already kind of started. Because the resist or the threshold that they had to stay above was $87.
Yeah,
or
I know
$85.
it was 88, and I know that. It's kind of funny how we
88.
both know that. Yeah,
What's
but,
yeah,
but it's like this is how into trading like it is
right.
to like get into that. You know what to look for after some time.
Yeah, and it's good to know it too, because then when you see something like a news thing, you're like, oh, okay, that's this means that. You can just interpret better and make better decisions.
So since it has crossed that like 88, like it's really been ripping. Now it's like sitting at like 95, 96.
I think we're gonna see. I know that a lot of analysts were saying that $118 is like the objective.
That's their like resistance point. So they have like they had that resistance point over there at 88. They push past that, and now we're looking to get up to there. But it also has some troubles getting past 100 sometimes. So who really knows? But
that'll be nice to see that when it does.
And so like at this point, would you consider looking into trading with like any special options and stuff like that? And if so, how would you be thinking about it?
So I would, because Solana is such a ecosystem of its own, and they have a bunch of dApps and different like Solana-based tokens. I think the options, like DeFi options on the Solana network, is like booming. So some examples that I want to share with you guys that I think are really beneficial, some places to go, would be like this SolLend. Now this is really cool. It's the autonomous interest rate machine for lending on Solana. You earn interest and borrow 30 assets across 7 pools on the fastest, lowest fee, and most scalable lending protocol. And it's pretty, and like, so here are some of the investors into this: Solana Foundation, Coinbase Ventures, etc. And basically, it's really cool because right now this is a pretty new website, and so like additional incentives are being rewarded as part of the liquidity mining 2.0 pilot program for the month of March, which is really nice. And it's just cool because if you have Solana and you're not doing anything with it, you can go here and you can supply it, and you'll be earning interest just by doing that. And then also borrowing, you can borrow Solana if you have some set up to supply. And it's just a really nice way of like going about this. As you can see, the total borrow is 411 million so far. Total supply is 1.09 billion. And this was literally came out like a few weeks ago. So that's really cool.
How would you go into this? Like, would you be dropping bags into this, or?
It definitely depends on what people, because with everything with crypto, I would say it's important to never, you don't want to like put in money that you can't go without, and you can't be like, I think for me personally, I think that going about this, like on this app Friction, I would say maybe if you put in $300, I think that's a good amount. Like, I wouldn't say go crazy and put in thousands of dollars or anything, unless you have, millions of dollars. But like, I don't know. I definitely believe in it. As you can see, everyone that was a part of these calls and puts had a nice little payout. And that's the cool thing about this thing called Friction.fi, is that they have it so that the bot or the automated thing, and I know we've talked about this before, but so Vault number 1 is focusing on income generation strategies, running automated covered call selling programs, and once deposited, funds are deployed into the current epoch, and the Vault becomes your active portfolio manager. So your deposits are auto-compounded weekly, option strikes and expires are algorithmically determined to maximize your returns and minimize the chance of an option being called or underlying asset assigned.
Dang,
Withdrawals can be,
so
yeah.
they're really on that taking profits grind right there.
Yes, and that's why I like this so much, because that was something that we were emphasizing a little bit ago on the podcast.
And it
Taking
sounds like
profits.
they really with like those returns they really look to like get that. So are they also like good within like a they do the automated covered call, but do are they good to only trade when things are going up, or could you be trading in these no matter like
You can
what
be
the market's
trading in
doing?
these no matter when. Um, so like for example, this is the Volt number 2,
Mm-hmm.
and it's stablecoin deposits. So the Volt runs automated cash secured put programs similar to the first to Volt number 1. Your deposits are auto compounded weekly. Option strikes and expiries are algorithmically determined to maximize your returns and minimize the chance of an option. Yeah, same thing.
Okay, so it sounds
Yeah,
like
they
puts and calls. How long can you do these for?
dude, you can do them for as long as you want.
And so, like, with that, do you get to keep the whatever you put into it, like the soul?
Yeah.
So you get to keep the underlying token as well.
That's what you're putting in. You're putting in.
So basically, if you believe in that, and then you believe in like it not like tanking
Right.
so hard that like
Yeah.
the APY is like outmatched by like the price decrease, then these are a fairly cool option. I saw like 30% APY for a Solana in there.
And that's like a lower one.
Yeah,
Like right
that's
now at this moment.
kind of crazy. So I
Yeah.
guess like y'all should check those out.
Check
Like
those out, people.
if you haven't already.
And like honestly, like you can leave it in there cuz you can't withdraw it for like, 7 days or like
Mm-hmm.
5 days for however long the epoch takes. And so you're either going to withdraw, like what's happened to me is, maybe say I put some money into the calls and that crypto didn't do super well that day.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, or at the end of the epoch, like when I withdraw, I'm not withdrawing less. I've never withdrawn less from that thing. The I've only withdrawn maybe like almost the amount I started out with, but maybe a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
just a tiny bit more, or a substantial amount, which is nice, and I feel like safe putting my money in there. You know,
Okay.
yeah, it's like a long
Okay.
term investment that's short term.
But do you keep any in there for a long term time basis?
I have, but I don't want to say. Well, it depends how, for long term, like when it comes to cryptos, I
Mm-hmm.
think, since it's so volatile, and then within these past few months, it's been really shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I haven't been doing that as much. I've just kind of been playing it all around safe, just like, holding onto my tokens, and waiting for something like what's happening right now to kind of start happening.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just think this is a great D app to use, guys, on the Solana ecosystem, which Solana was also just integrated, or Solana based tokens were integrated onto Coinbase.
Oh no
Pretty cool.
way!
Yeah.
I saw something where I think like Coinbase is going to be moving towards like the NFT space as well.
Oh yeah. They're gonna have an NFT marketplace on
Yeah,
there.
they're gonna have an NFT marketplace on there, and also now I saw Robinhood's going to have like a savings account type thing on
Oh, that's
like
cool.
their like kind of like features as well. So it's all these like movers in the market that are able to make like small tweaks and then kind of change their game
Yeah.
just a little bit. But
Yeah, for real.
I
And
mean,
then
along those lines, like what are you seeing for like the NFT spaces right now?
so NFTs, I think right now are also going to be going up because we've seen a bit of a decrease these
Mm-hmm.
past few weeks. But I noticed, like today, for example, Solana's NFTs for a few months now. Solana's NFTs have been down in
Mm-hmm.
price, but just recently, along with Solana, the prices of these have been, going up, and you can see the volume increasing on a daily basis, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And something that was nice that I encountered today was a Solstead, which is a NFT that I bought a while ago. I forgot I had it. Forgot I had it listed. I had it listed for like something outrageous, like 50 Solana,
Damn.
on this one exchange. which just happens to be an exchange that doesn't show you the NFT in your wallet. So I forgot. I thought I sold it or something, and then I stumble upon it today, and then I unlist it, and then I flip it. So I got it for 12 Solana originally. I flipped it today for 15 Solana. So made a little bit of an increase, you know. Like, I honestly, I think I could have made more if I would have just held on to it, but I don't know. I like Solsteads, but they're not like, I don't see much utility behind them as much as I'd like to see.
So with that, do you think you're flipping that back in the market, or?
So I think what I'm doing is, I've taken some of the money from that and I put it towards, I got a new Doodori, which because like for pretty cheap.
Doodoris have been pretty cheap, yeah.
Yeah, which is nice because I don't know, I really like that project.
And don't they have potions out as well now?
Yes, they have these potions out that are going to be like your ticket for free mint for their upcoming collection.
Right on.
Which I'm not sure the name of is yet, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, Polkadot, they're ready to be sent back to around, or sent up, I should say, to around $23. Hopefully, you know, right now I think they're hovering around like 12, 13, something like that.
Dang.
Yeah, and because that's not even like their all-time high, but that is, you know, a high that they've had. And so I think the crypto market's for an uptrend.
What's making you think that like Polkadot's gonna catch like a big win there?
So I would just say based off of all of the articles. So I just see articles like every day when I go on Google because I have like my news feed is set up like that, and so there's just a bunch of these from like Cointelegraph and then a few others that are talking about like just how Solana, Polkadot, and VeChain people, that those are cryptos to look for because they're on the verge of a nice upward outbreak. I think.
And that makes sense because they have crossed over those lines and they are continuing on up. So you think like right now would be a good time to like hop over and play like KuCoin futures as well? Yes,
that's what I've been doing actually today. I made about $100 so far.
Yeah, and I actually have to give you a shout out because you told me in the Discord to get in on some XRP.
Oh hell yeah! So, how'd that go?
Dude, that was absolutely amazing. I did like a KuCoin future with like a big margin on it, and it was up like to like 150% or something like that.
Dang, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah, I've just kicking myself I didn't put more in, but hey, you know, you live on. You get the next one, but I feel like I'm starting to like understand those like trends just like a little bit more.
Isn't it weird? It's like a hard thing to describe because it's like a lot of it's based off of just people. What are people saying about it? Like what is, you know, and I feel like that kind of goes with what we were just saying about Elon Musk, you know, just being such a interesting guy. And then I'm already Cohen, like
Ryan Cohen.
Ryan Cohen, these kinds of people, you know, they have a lot of influence and they can sway certain stocks or cryptos based off of a tweet, which is pretty crazy. And a tweet that Elon Musk had the other day was that he said he is holding on to, he's not selling his Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Doge.
Dang, dude, that's kind of funny because I'm wondering how hard that actually drives the market when he says something like that.
Doge has been going up.
Dude, Doge, I would believe all of them are going up in the last few hours. Even something as big as Bitcoin probably could get moved by him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. In terms of XRP, though, I did see something that was saying that XRP and XLM, which is Stellar, are going to be like the cryptos of, you know, that we're going to be able to use in the United States as like payments or whatever.
Dang.
And I'm not, you know, I saw an article that was.
How far down the line are you thinking if that's true?
It depends how long these motherfuckers over, you know, at wherever they need to get it so that this is passed, so that regulations can come.
Yeah,
like,
so
they've been talking about it forever.
Yeah. Dude,
too long.
It's just like these these people are just like come and go with like these things, honestly. But like, there's a lot of stuff going on right now in this world, and like, you know, as
So
great
much.
as that would be to like have that figured out, I think that like they're tackling a lot of like nation security stuff. And
Right, and I agree with that.
yeah.
And it's weird though, because like something that I just think something that they're saying a lot is, Elizabeth Warren will be talking about how, we're coming up, she's drawing up some plan to regulate the cryptos or whatever. And it's just like, do you even know what you're talking about? Because I swear, like, it sounds like she doesn't even know, and it's
It
honestly
sounds like
somewhat
somebody's
disturbing.
handing her like just like a speech to read, and she's just like,
Yeah,
uh,
dude, for real. It's like, geez, like, is she like? I mean, obviously, she's not the one that's probably drawing up the thing that's gonna be like,
hmm
the plan. But like, you gotta wonder, who are these people that are advising her? Who is she
hmm
giving this task to?
yeah, and it's just like why, maybe she's, everybody's
Why
got
is she even talking about it?
their own private funders, like people that
Right.
are like the lobbyists, so
Yeah.
you never know what's going on in there, but it's kind of crazy. One thing I think we've yet to talk about is that this is a midterm election year, and those are always kind of hectic. But one
Hmm.
thing that we see typically in midterm election years, I mean, maybe not for this year, but is that they usually tend to turn around after like the election happens. So people are kind of like unknown. There's a lot of unknowns in the market, and I could see, you know, what we talked about at the beginning. Things do look grim, but like, if some factors turn out, I could see us like kind of breaking into like positive for like this year. But like,
That'd be nice.
yeah, it would be nice. It's just like there's
That'd be a
also like
surprise.
so many like random variables out there. Like who does what? Like
I
is there
know.
like more of a war? Does this break out? Does somebody drop a nuke? Like
Yeah.
all these random all these random factors. So like that's not drawing to like massive positions right now. Like
Hmm.
no balls to the wall. And
Yeah. None of that.
yeah.
One last thing is Bored Ape Yacht Club coming out with their own metaverse that's gonna be
Oh yeah,
available in April. It's cool.
Otherworld.
Is Otherworld, yeah. And
Oh yeah.
honestly, should we watch a quick little
Yeah, let's leave the audience with a little something.
yeah, we're gonna show
We
you guys
got you.
something very cool.
Oh yeah,
Oth-
you guys are
it,
gonna love this.
so it's Otherworld BAYC, which is Bored Ape Yacht Club. And here we go. Dude, I'm excited, man. I think it has some serious potential, you know.
Ooh, is this it?
Yeah. Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
You know the day destroys the night. Night divides the day. Try to run,
Dang.
try to hide.
I know.
Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. We chased our pleasures here. Dug our treasures there. But can you still recall the time we cried? Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side.
They got some other badass NFT collections that are going to be a part of this. You'll see right. You'll see right here.
Oh no way.
Let's go.
Wow.
To the other side. Break on through. Break on through. Break on through. Break on through.
Wow. That's
Isn't it
sweet. So is that
right?
kind of be intermixed with like some of the other big NFTs as well?
Yeah, yeah. I'm guessing.
Oh man, that's
Right?
sweet.
Isn't that sick? And it makes sense too, because I was wondering like if they were only gonna have one collection, like if you had to be a Bored Ape owner, I don't know if you have to be an owner to participate in this. I would assume you don't, but you might. I mean, I don't know, because that's a decent amount of people right there that have money. You know,
Mhm.
like if you own
I'm
one of those,
I'm sure they'll let you in if you find some money somewhere
right?
or pay like some sort of admission fee.
Yeah, they would. I feel like that makes sense. You know,
Oh, sheesh! I can't wait. That's gonna be super fun. You
it
think
kind
you
of
could
looks like
get in with
Fortnite,
like? You think you could get in with like a derivative?
dude. Honestly, that would be sick. I think that the smartest way that I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna go about it in a way that's like inclusive to everyone, so
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to just own a Bored Ape or one of those NFTs because they're all pretty expensive. I
Mm-hmm.
think, but if you own one of those, I think the experience or the benefits that you're gonna have going into that metaverse are gonna be a lot more than if you don't own one, which I don't own any, but I'm along for the ride.
I'm feeling it out as like a sort of like a translation system. Like if you're in a tier one and you own like a tier one of these like NFTs, you pay like this amount. Like,
Yeah,
you own like a derivative project, you might pay this amount, and then like
that'd be sick.
or something else like that. And if none else, and you have an NFT, like they'll let you in for this amount. It'd be fun. It'd be fun.
And
Maybe
it's
that's
cool
what's
because they're a
gonna happen.
DAO,
Yeah.
which is like, that's how I would like to see. I want to, it's nice to see metaverse that's coming out that's like literally owned by a DAO, like
Mhm.
and that's means decentralized autonomous organization people, which means if you own one of those, then you're basically an owner of that NFT collection, and
Mhm.
you get to make decisions as well.
Yeah, you get to be a part of like the people, especially with like where that project's headed and stuff like that going forward. But
Yeah, it looks sweet.
yeah, and now y'all know as well. So
So now you
definitely
know.
be sure to check that out. And with that being said, make sure
Join
you check this out
join their
and
Discord.
check us out on Twitter
Hmm.
and Instagram as well. We will be putting up some good stuff. But definitely check out that Discord so that you guys can get in contact with us like on the daily.